I am live and I am going to read Psalm chapter 6. So this is keeping me accountable. Today was a very busy day. We got up this morning for our first day after the new year, 2025, and got going, and it turned out we ended up in some traffic, which there was a really bad accident, which was a truck that jackknifed on the highway. And it must have happened just before we got there because it was on the side of the road and some police cars were going to the scene. So it did look like there was a crane there maybe trying to redirect it. I don't know how they got that thing out of there, but thankfully we were not in the midst of it. And so we were at school right on time, but not early. And then we had a special schedule today because of the ski club. And so that was interesting. And then I had some other work to do for school. I had a tutoring class and just one thing right after the other today. So I'm thankful that I can finally be here and read Psalm chapter 6. This one is 10 verses, and so we're just going to take a moment. Psalm chapter 6. This is a prayer for mercy. Do you need mercy? I think most people need mercy in one way or the other. O Lord, rebuke me not in thine anger, neither chasten me in thy hot displeasure. Have mercy upon me, O Lord, for I am weak. O Lord, heal me, for my bones are vexed. My soul is also sore vexed. But thou, O Lord, how long? Return, O Lord, deliver my soul. O save me for thy mercy's sake. For in the death there is no remembrance of thee. In the grave who shall give thee thanks? I am weary with all my groaning. All the night make I my bed to swim. I water my couch with my tears. Mine eye is consumed because of my grief. It waxeth old because of all my enemies. Depart from me, all ye workers of iniquity, for the Lord hath heard the voice of my weeping. The Lord hath heard my supplication. The Lord will receive my prayer. Let all mine enemies be ashamed and sore vexed. Let them return and be ashamed suddenly. I wonder why David was so, he was hard on himself, right? David was a man after God's own heart. And that's what this video is about. I'm reading from the Bible, Psalm chapter 6. This is a prayer for mercy. Okay? Most people want the mercy of God. We don't really want the judgment of God on our lives, right? We want mercy for ourselves. Sometimes we want judgment on other people. But we should really want the same thing for others that we want for ourselves. Thank you for coming to this video. I'm reading from chapter 6 of Psalms. I've just decided that I'm going to read a chapter a day on my channel, and maybe this can encourage someone that you would look to God and ask him to help you. So, O Lord, rebuke me not in thine anger, neither chasten me in thy hot displeasure. I guess that's acknowledging that he knows, he knows that he has done wrong and he wants mercy, and we should all want mercy for ourselves and asking God for mercy. God is merciful, but he does want us to acknowledge what we have done wrong or how we have sinned against him. And it says here that his soul is vexed. But thou, O Lord, how long? Knowing that God is not watching you, or what is the word? Like, he is watching us, but maybe he's disappointed in us. I know my dad, he was a really good person. Thank you so much for coming. Reading from the Bible, and this is King James, Psalm chapter 6. And my dad was a really great dad. He was very merciful. And I can remember doing some things wrong, and I would not want him to know, just because I didn't want him to be disappointed. Like, not that I thought he was going to really do something terrible to me, but that he would just be disappointed. And that, I don't know, I feel for me, that's maybe how God is, that if we love him enough, we don't want to disappoint him. When we do something that is wrong, that we would be sorry about it, and that we would be just that we would feel bad about it, because God is our Father. He watches over us. This morning we had a good morning. We had a good day. The sky was beautiful, and God is good. And then I go along and do something that he's not pleased with. And I'm like, please, Lord, don't judge me. Pass over me and give me mercy. Verse 2, have mercy upon me, for I am weak. Sometimes it's hard to admit that we are weak and that we have failed. We failed ourselves. We failed God. But he is always there. He is merciful. He is a good God, and he loves it when we look to him. And he knows that we are dust. He knows that we are sinners, and he wants to bring us back to him. And I can remember the time, I'll tell you about the time where I played the flute, and my dad bought me a flute. He's always very supportive of things that I wanted to do. And I was kind of the kind of kid that would break things, drop things, lose things. And this flute, I practiced my flute, left it on my bed. And I think what happened was, I don't really remember the exact thing, because I think I sat on my bed and I got up to go out of my room, and I came back and the flute was bent. So I think I sat on the flute, bent it. Then I picked it up and I tried to bend it back. So I bent it the other way, and then it was bent like twice right in the middle of the main piece, because flutes are like 3 pieces, and right in the main piece it was bent again. And I think I just, I don't think I breathed for a minute. And then I had to tell my dad, and he was not happy, but he was merciful to me. He didn't give me a licking. He just was like, okay, now what do I do? I think what happened was we had homeowners insurance or something, and he was able to have a deductible on it. He got it fixed at the store. Then after that, I had 2 flutes for a little while, and I don't even know how all of those circumstances went, but I had another flute at a time where I was talking to my friends at school, and I left the flute on we were all talking. So instead of having my books in my hands with my flute, I put everything down so I could talk with my friends. I was in junior high. And when I went back to get my books, my flute was gone. So I knew that somebody had taken my flute. And I loved the flute. I played the flute in 5th and 6th grade, 7th and 8th grade. And then I went to a Christian school where we didn't really have flute lessons there. So then I didn't play in high school, but when I went to college, I played in a flute choir. But this all happened when I was in junior high. And I had to tell my dad my flute got stolen. And I went to the principal, told him about it, and he said, well, you probably won't ever see it again, but if we find it, we'll let you know. And it turned out that we did find it. Some person was stealing stuff all over the school, and they found out who it was and found all this bunch of stuff, and they gave me my flute back. So eventually I did get it back, but it was irresponsible of me to sit on my flute. It was irresponsible of me to put my flute down, and somebody stole it. I shouldn't have put it down. It was a silver flute. It's kind of dumb. It was a big, huge group of kids, you know, anything could happen. So, but my dad, you know, he was patient with me and he took care of the problem, made sure I still had a flute to play, and went on with my life. I still have. I ended up with 2 flutes, and then I ended up selling one of them to a friend because I didn't really need 2 of them. But I still have that flute today, and I always liked to play my flute. But, you know, sometimes we think if we tell our parent or we tell God about something, God obviously already knows everything. He knows everything that we've done. And when we acknowledge what we've done, he's pleased about it. He already knows, you know, he's our heavenly Father. He is omniscient and he is a good God. And he loves us and he knows what we're doing, not like a human father that we can maybe keep secrets from. I will play it maybe sometime, but I haven't played it in a really long time. I used to play it a lot, and like I said, I played it. My favorite thing was I played in flute choir with about 30 flutes, and it was gorgeous, beautiful music. And that was when I was in college, but I haven't really played it in a long time. So, yeah, so I'm really thankful for how God does show us mercy. And those are just like little situations in childhood. But, you know, God knows the big things too. And so when we are even at our wits' end and we're at the end of our ropes on ourselves, God is always there. He's always there to help us. And this is a reminder for myself. Like, I'm doing this on YouTube, and I hope that maybe someone else can be encouraged by it. But I'm kind of encouraging myself. I'm telling myself, you know, these things because I need God in my own life, and I need him to help me. And I want to walk in his strength and in his knowledge of his goodness and grace and the peace that he can give in my life. And I want to be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. And so I'm encouraged that David, even though he sinned and he, you know, was a sinner, you know, and he called out to God. He could have just gotten bitter and angry and just, you know, if he hadn't written all these Psalms, we wouldn't have all these wonderful things to know how God can help us in the worst of times. So that is in Psalm chapter 6. So just remember that every time we do something wrong, God is always ready to show us mercy. But he does want us to turn towards him. He is merciful. He's right there, right by us, watching us. He knows everything we're doing, and he's ready to look at us and smile at us and take us back. So yeah, so thank you so much for coming to this video, and you'll share the video. How are you going to share it? After this live, you could share it on the video itself, and I'll watch your video if you want me to. And so I'm just doing Psalm chapter 6 today, and I will catch you again later. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you for coming to my channel. I really appreciate it. Let me know who you are and what I can do to watch maybe one of your videos, and I will try to come on again. I don't know if I have a consistent time I can actually do this. I might try to. In the morning, it's kind of hard because I am so busy in the morning getting ready and all that. But I like doing it in the morning sometimes and in the evening sometimes, because then I might be able to talk to different people on the video. So there you have it. And thank you for coming. And I hope you guys have a great night. I'll see you next time.